Hey, stay after to learn more about our small indie project and how you can get involved to help build the story world of the Index Project and get more free content. Fish Out of Water by Rustin L. Odom. Chapter 1. Theo popped another Red Dots candy into his mouth. He chewed and gagged. He coughed and hurled and spit out onto his keyboard. Tequila. He stared at the half-chewed hardened corn syrup and modified starch candy. No, not tequila. Industrial oven fucking cleaner. Pulling a trick on reality just so Theo could manifest Dots candies out of thin air was a gamble. Once again, the universe made a point that a free lunch can sometimes have the highest price tag. He honestly couldn't tell how long that candy chemical bomb was rolling around in his mouth. He prayed he wouldn't get sick. Not today. His nerves were already shot. He had to keep his focus. His eyes flashed to one of his many monitors. A CCTV feed focused on a government building. The evening streets were quiet and empty. They weren't scheduled to arrive on site for another 17 minutes, and the waiting was killing him. Maybe he had time for a little distraction. He felt anxiety roll up into his chest, and Theo knew that getting his head straight was mission critical. And nothing calms the nerves more than exploiting the sacred continuity of physics to make a few Dots candies. Theo spun around in his chair and faced the corner of the room where his beautiful beast sat on a cluttered workbench. It was a haphazard mishmash of technology that looked like it belonged in a theoretical physicist's yard sale. Wires and circuit boards, parts from home improvement stores, and bits of old electronics were all jury-rigged together, forming a tangled web of connections. The heart of this contraption was a toaster. But not just a toaster, it was an RD, a reality distortion object. Classified influence type, entanglement. It was a glitch in our universe. It didn't abide by the continuity of reality. Push down the lever, and toast would always pop up. Whether you put bread into it or not, it didn't matter. Toast always matriculates. The toaster was likely a glitch due to society's collective consciousness's natural expectation that a toaster would produce, well, toast. But somehow this toaster got caught in the crossfire between the conscious consensus and a reality rendering error. And now we got toast infinitum. However, toast is not what Theo uses this particular RD for. With the help from some of the more advanced members of Non-Local, Theo had spent countless hours inventing, modifying, and enhancing technologies to be able to siphon the toaster's anomalous manifestation properties. He could damn near create anything out of thin air, but mainly he uses it for Dots candies. Theo adjusted a knob, one of many repurposed from old appliances, and tapped a button that once belonged to a TV remote control. The device hummed to life, emitting a low, almost musical hum. Lights blinked erratically, casting an eerie glow over his workspace. Theo's eyes flicked over to the toaster's lever, the final step in the process. With a deep breath, he pressed the lever down. The toaster vibrated slightly, and for a moment, the air around it seemed to ripple. Theo focused intently, his mind's eye zeroing in on the image of a box of Dots candies. He imagined their chewy texture, the way they stick to his teeth, the vibrant colors. A soft pop, and the toaster's lever sprang back up. And there, sitting on an aluminum tray, was a newly manifested pile of brightly colored dots. He reached for one, hoping this time the taste wouldn't offend. But the toaster seemed to have a mind of its own, and as he bit into the candy, a familiar taste exploded into his mouth. Sour milk and ash, and maybe with a hint of Tootsie Roll. Damn it, Theo muttered, spitting the candy out. He blamed his nerves. He hasn't been able to concentrate all morning. This was his first big mission, and his brother's life depended on him. His main monitor came to life with a piercing static cry. A strong voice echoed in his small apartment.
Fish, we're in position. Start the sequence.
Shit, Theo exclaimed. They were way ahead of schedule. He rolled his chair back to the station and danced his fingers over the keyboard. The sequences he meticulously coded in the weeks before flashed in multi-windows across the screen. Dancing computer code revealed the security feed for the National Archives and Records Administration building. Copy that. Sequences running. Theo's voice was steadier than he felt. His older brother always had that effect on him. Should we drop comms? He asked. A moment or two went by before Ethan reported back.
No. Save it if contact is made. We don't need security suspicious if their cell phones don't work.
Copy that.
Go ahead and prep second sequence, Fish.
Fish was Theo's handle. Not the handle he would choose, but Ethan made sure it stuck with the non-local crew. In comforting, stereotypical fashion, Ethan was true in his role as big brother to Theo. Ever since he was in diapers, it was Ethan that spoke for Theo. It was Ethan that broke his skateboard on a bully's skull that stole Theo's backpack. It was Ethan that got suspended for burning the class finals just to hide that Theo didn't do them at all. And it was Ethan that protected him from their father, rewarded with a black eye or 3. But now, for the first time, it was Theo's turn to be the protector. Unlocking door 1. Now. A click, and the security feed showed Ethan opening the door. The team slipped inside. Theo switched feeds to the inside lobby. Even from a camera feed, Theo could see Ethan's face was set in determination, leading the way for 2 other non-local agents. Suddenly, his secondary screen flickered. A CCTV feed just outside Theo's apartment front door. Someone approached, and Theo's stomach twisted. Fuck! Not now! The landlord, Mr. Radish, was already knocking on his door and getting louder with each knock. Ignoring the rising panic, Theo muted his mic and took a breath. God damn it, he was freezing again. His anxiety felt like a dull butter knife slowly twisting deeper into his heart. Mr. Chalmers, this is the 3rd time, Mr. Radish yelled through the door. I know, it's a bad time, okay? Theo watched as his brother and team approached the elevators. Shit! He hadn't run the masking sequence for the camera system in the lobby yet. His fingers sloppily spilled over the keyboard and the cameras went down. He prayed he was fast enough. Mr. Chalmers, open the door!
Elevator access.
Ethan spoke through the feed. Ethan shouldn't even have to ask. Those access codes should have already been loaded up. Theo was behind, and being behind is dangerous. The door erupted with more knocking. Theo can hear the wood squeak against the hinges. His body stiffened like a paralyzing spell was cast over him. Mr. Chalmers, open the door, or so help me God, I will open it for you, the landlord barked.
Elevator access. Come on, Fish.
He could hear Ethan's annoyance turn into disappointment, and that burned. He broke out of his stalemate and got to his feet. I'm coming, Mr. Radish, Theo screamed toward the door, but Theo could hear the jingling of keys. Mr. Radish was already trying to open the door. Theo executed the function that dumped the access codes into the elevator OS. The elevator doors opened on the video feed, and Theo flew toward his front door. Theo fumbled with the lock, his hands shaking. He swung open the door. I have the rent. I just forgot to send it, okay? Theo said before the door was opened all the way. Mr. Radish sneered. I want this month's rent and next month's too. What? Why? You always forget, and you're always late. Just as Theo opened his mouth to protest, the audio feed from the command center suddenly burst alive with gunfire and panicked orders of retreat.
Ambush! Fall back, goddammit!
Theo's blood ran cold. Mr. Radish snuck a peek behind Theo. What is that? It's just a video game, Theo blurted. Okay, 2 months rent. Theo reached for a desk and opened the drawer. It was filled with unorganized cash, 1s, 5s, all the way up to $100 bills. Theo takes 2 huge handfuls and throws the clump of cash at Mr. Radish's feet. 2 months rent and whatever's left over you keep, okay? The landlord's stern face hardened, but he reluctantly nodded. Theo slammed the door shut. Back at his station, the chaos was in full bloom. Gunfire echoed through the headset, and Theo's heart stopped. Ethan's voice was frantic.
Fish, we need backup, goddammit!
Theo's fingers were lightning strikes. He cycled through CCTV feeds and security protocols. Where are they? He screamed in his mind. There! They were pinned down near the archive rooms, not even halfway to the mission's target object. Bullets were whizzing past Ethan and his team. Chunks of marble exploded from the walls from every shot. Theo's pulse quickened, his breath shallow. Ethan was in danger, and it was up to Theo to neutralize the threat. A quick cycle and he found the threat through the camera feeds. 3 security guards holding position and firing assault rifles. Pretty heavy security for a museum. It would have been nice to know ahead of time just how important the target object was, but who the hell knows why the top brass of non-local chooses to keep certain things secret. No matter. He needed a plan fast. No, he needed it now. His eyes darted to the toaster. A twisted idea molested his mind. Ethan, ramp up your intention. I need you to focus on the guard on your left.
What are you planning here, Fish?
Just do it. Theo watched through the feed as Ethan pulled out a small, sleek device from his gear. He quickly attached it to an input at the base of his skull. He aimed the device at the guard on the left, his face a mask of concentration. Theo hit a few dials and slammed down the toaster lever. He focused, imagining a piece of toast, simple and unassuming, absolutely safe. That is, unless it could be jammed inside a guard's windpipe. The toaster lever snapped back up. In the camera feed, the guard suddenly dropped his weapon, clutching at his throat. He staggered, grasping for air, and collapsed to the ground. It worked. 1 of 3 down, Theo muttered. Focus on the middle guard. Theo prepared to manifest another piece of toast. Ring! An old-timey ringtone played from Theo's cell phone. In that fraction of a second, his mind slipped, and a fleeting image of an old telephone booth crossed his thoughts. The toaster's lever snapped back up, and Theo watched the guard's body contort grotesquely. Even through the audio feed, Theo could hear muffled bones snapping against metal and ripping through wet flesh. An entire phone booth exploded out from within the guard's body. The sickening crunch and pop made Theo gag as blood and gore splattered across the room. Theo collected himself. Last one, focus. But that was enough of a sight for the last guard, though. The guard bolted the opposite direction and down toward the elevators. Ethan's voice crackled through the headset, hoarse.
Clear for now, Fish. Keep an eye out on that guard. Disable comms. We don't have much time now, but we can still get the object. Moving forward. Prepare for extraction.
Copy. Theo's hands were shaking. He forced himself to take a deep breath. Theo refocused on the remaining security guard, his fingers dancing across the keyboard to boot up the pre-coded algorithm to take down building's communication systems. First, the phone lines. Then he quickly disabled the guard's personal cell phone. That should buy some time. His eyes flicked back to the camera feed. They were navigating through the marble halls. The dim light cast long shadows as they moved with practiced precision.
Approaching target,
Ethan called out. Ethan's team reached a secure glass case. Inside was the infamous Carcano rifle, the weapon used by Lee Harvey Oswald to assassinate JFK. The gun rested on a velvet cushion, the barrel gleaming ominously under the soft lighting. Theo knew how powerful the rifle was, but he wasn't sure why non-local needed it so badly. More secrets he just wasn't privy to. The rifle wasn't just a historical artifact. It was a focal point of immense collective consciousness. If Theo had to guess, it was that the rifle could act as an amplifier, channeling conscious intention embedded in its history to pull off some unprecedented hack. The rifle had soaked up years of conspiracy theories, historical significance, and intense emotional energy. Or perhaps, Theo wondered, maybe Oswald's rifle was a reality distortion itself, not unlike his toaster. Theo's screen flickered, drawing his attention to a motion sensor alert in the lobby. Likely frustrated with the comms, the guard sprinted out the front doors. Move fast. The last guard left the building, Theo warned, his voice tense. Suddenly, all of Theo's displays glitched and squealed. Not just the monitors focused on the mission, but every single display at his station. Theo jumped as even his vintage tube television on the other side of his apartment turned on and cracked with static. What the fuck? Theo muttered, frantically tapping at his keyboard. After a few moments of digital chaos, an old commercial from the 80s began to play behind the distortion. Bright colors and grainy visuals danced across the screens. A cheerful jingle filled the room, accompanied by a voiceover. It was choppy and hardly audible. Hey there. Take a glance. Magic is in the memories. Theo couldn't exactly make out what the commercial was for, or what exactly it was trying to say. Abruptly, the volume shifted to full blast and the commercial screamed in his face. Theo! Theo jolted back and the commercial ended. It dissolved into static. The screens flipped back on and returned to normal. Theo's heart pounded as he scanned the camera feeds. Ethan and the team were gone, completely vanished. Only a pile of their equipment remained in front of the display case. No. Theo's voice trembled. He frantically switched between cameras, desperately searching for any sign of them. They couldn't just disappear. Ethan, do you read me? Theo's voice cracked through the headset, but there was no response. Panic surged and ripped through him. His brother was gone, just gone, and there was nothing he could do. Oh fuck. Theo was frozen again. The time his brother needed him the most was ticking past second by second, and there was Theo, sitting in his fucking chair, staring at his fucking monitor, and not doing a fucking thing. The equipment surrounded him buzzed with a white noise that amplified higher and higher into his ears. Theo's once and only time to be his brother's protector was snatched out of his hands, and he barely tried to hold a grip. He's gone, Theo thought. Just like that. No. This will not happen. Not this way. He just needed to think. He needed a plan. Theo's eyes darted around the apartment. He was surrounded by his arsenal. Every computer, every server, every experimental technology and reality alteration was his own personal weapon of mass destruction. And he was ready to punch in the launch codes. His eyes landed on the toaster, and next to it, his cabinet of mysteries. Behind those doors held every single one of his reality-defying treasures. And Theo, in that wrathful, furious moment, would obliterate the very foundation of reality to save his big brother. Which reality distortion object should Theo take with him to find his brother? A BB gun that teleports the shooter? A guitar tuner that allows reality to tune into another reality? A light switch that swaps the cause and effect of nearly anything? Vote by leaving a comment or take the poll on our Discord channel or X account and learn more about these reality defects and join the discussion on our Discord channel. Hey, thanks so much for watching our preseason content. We're a small indie project and we're just getting started, so it would mean the world to us if you subscribed, followed, and shared our content. What makes us a little bit different is that the Index project allows you, the audience, to help shape this evolving sci-fi story world. And you can start by going to theindex.world. And for a limited time, first to sign up will receive an issue of Ebbing, the Index project's first comic book, once it's published.